Latino Slant presents Slant News Flash. Entertainment stories from around the world. Give us 5 minutos. We'll give you El Mundo. Paulie here on the Latino Slant, breaking away from our entertainment news, going a little political, but it has a lot to do with the Latino community. Make sure you are subscribed and stick around for the entire video. At the end, I'm going to connect you with a really key video in what's going on and how it's connected here, but also give you my thoughts. Okay, what is going on? Well, it seems that there has been a lot of pushback with the a lot of reaction. Let's say a lot of reaction, positive and negative, right? On Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her statements in regards to Latinx, including going after other Democrats. And so a lot of stories have been out: New York Post, Washington Times, Daily Caller, Daily Mail UK. We're going to get to the Daily Mailer UK. But a lot of what we've covered and a lot of sentiment is kind of repeated here, as far as your regular, let's just say Juan y Juana Latino out there responding. And so there's one comment I'd like to bring up, and that I think is interesting and will connect to our video here. So we got someone posting up: the Latinx seems to be heavily susceptible to the misinformation. Time to send in AOC so she can Spanglish explain to the brown dum-dums. Okay, that's a good one. But more importantly, this person reposted a poll, and this is a new poll. Republicans lead Democrats by 3% among Hispanics in a new Quinnipiac poll in 2022 ballot. 41 to 38%. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's not the first time we see this. And yes, this is why Democrats are buying Hispanic radio stations. That's a video tie-in for later. They're terrified. And this is from a kind of a right-leaning person here, which is fine. Everyone has an opinion, that's for sure. But the numbers don't lie. So going into that, and we have covered this, and I think it's important to keep covering as we go into election cycles, knowing your base, knowing your voters, respecting your voters, because respect for the voter is where you start and where you can have conversation on real issues. And that respect usually starts with how you call them, and how you approach them. So what may seem as a very superficial topic, a superficial issue on what to call a person. Oh, why do we have to argue about this? A super majority think it is important. And but let's get to this story. All right. This is from the Daily Mail. AOC slams her Democratic colleagues for voting gender-neutral term Latinx and says language shouldn't be about re-election prospects after fellow Bronx rep slammed rich progressives for using it. Here are the bullet points. She says gender is fluid. Language is fluid. You don't have to make drama over it, she said in a defense of the term. Another bullet point: a recent political poll of Hispanic voters found that only 2% of those polled refer to themselves as Latinx. I would probably even say it's up to a 5%. It's up to 5%. Let's just be a little fair. Okay. There are some politicians, including Democratic politicians, that rail against the term Latinx, and they're like, this is so bad for the party. Another bullet point: it's almost as though it has not struck some of these folks that another person's identity is not about your re-election prospects. All right. So what I'm going to do, I am going to definitely include this article in the video description. I encourage you to read it and form your own opinion. This is interesting. I believe that. Well, let's read a little bit, and then I will give you a little bit of my 2 cents. In the spirit of pride, I wanted to note on gender inclusivity in the Spanish language, she said. In a diatribe posted on her Instagram. Yeah, she put a video up. People sometimes like to make a lot of drama over the term Latinx, but even before Latinx, people were trying to do this, like use an at symbol to have the A and an O in the Latino and the Latina together. Okay, so yes, they have. Now, when they say people have, it's a very small majority, and that majority seems small minority, and that minority seems a majority because they usually come from a college or university environment to where those ideas are expressed and discussed. For myself, a very progressive person going to college in the 90s, I know that they were trying to work around those words to be more inclusive. So Latino, with the O's and the A's. And I was like, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Here's what I'm calling myself. So yes, people have always been playing around with terms and to seem fair and not in to include everybody, but it's a very small majority. And then when you're talking about the voting block, it is very deceptive because the voting block of Latinos don't act like this. I mean, think like this. They don't, it's just not in their everyday life. They're either, whatever country they're from, or they're American, or they're Latino. So here's what I would like to do. I want you guys to check out this article. Like I said, form your own opinion. Then what I want you to do is check out this next video where we talk about this Democratic, or, it's actually a balanced group of investors, including Eva Longoria and a couple other prominent people. And they've just bought 18 different Spanish-speaking language radio stations across the country. I think that's a smart move, especially for the Democratic Party. I actually think it's a smart move. It might be a little too late, but if they become more of a kind of mainstream in the sense of really honing in and tuning into the Latino family and the Latino vote and all their issues, 2024 could be a lot better. Check out that video. Now, here's my two cents. If you're a Democrat and if you are a politician on this level, on this stature, the last thing you should do is go after your own publicly. Also, too, if you keep this up, you're going to hand over the next several election cycles to the other party. Those are my 2 cents. What do you guys think? Give me your comments. Either you're, for this, against this. What do you call yourself? All the good stuff. I have a playlist on all Latinx, stuff we've been talking about the last couple of years now on this channel. I really want to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you on the next Slant Newsflash. Paz. And wherever you're at, keep your slant fuerte. Slant Newsflash was recorded at the Slant Studios. All information has been pre-approved by our Slantino staff of Chicanos, Cholos, homeboys, and homegirls. Keep your slant fuerte.